Welcome back to Under Oath. I'm attorney Jeff Kaufman. Sitting next to me is Craig Lynd.
Howdy ho.
I want to discuss a very important issue, and we suffer from it too. When we feel we've been done wrong and there's an injustice and we want to fight with everything we're worth.
Yes.
And then we go, well, most likely it's going to take a couple years. Most likely we're not going to make any money. Within 6 months, we're going to feel like idiots for doing it. And this is the problem. When you come to me and say, hey, Jeff, I'm mad. They owe me $500. I go, well, that's not even an hour and a half of an attorney's time. And you're not going to get that money back. Like, well, I don't care.
It's the principle.
Oh,
it's the principle.
There are people out there right now, because we've talked about this. I've mentioned this before, and they go, Jeff, you're ridiculous. I said, no, I've just seen it. The principle isn't I'm offended. Principles are like, thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not be offended is not a principle.
I want to make a point.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to spend. Here's the thing, though. You'll find attorneys who I
agree with you.
I don't want to disparage attorneys.
But we are.
But
here we go.
But let me disparage some attorneys, because sometimes they're like AI. They'll just tell you what you want to hear. And they'll figure out a way to, at least in theory, get you what you want. And they'll promise you, and they'll take your money at $3 and $4 and $5 and $600 an hour. And then at the end of the day, when you are extraordinarily disappointed, they'll blame the judge, they'll blame the jury, they'll blame the law. And hey, I did the best I could. And meanwhile, you're out, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000.
If you're lucky. And I feel bad because I had a conversation with a certain gentleman. He goes, Jeff, money's not the issue here. I said, it will be after a year of this, after you're not mad anymore. And I'm like, hey, this is what you got to pay. And we don't do this area law. I would say 99% of our business is contingency, where if I don't get you money, I don't get money. Now, a lot of attorneys aren't like that. They have hourly rates. And for me, I remember when we used to be an hourly rate law firm many, many years ago. And it was difficult to have a conversation with somebody after they were no longer mad. Or in a divorce. And I've had this conversation with divorce students. Stop fighting over dumb stuff.
Well, yeah, you can get yourself in a position where you made it worse. Now you're a year or two into a lawsuit. Now you're not mad anymore. Now you don't want to do it and you want to drop the case. But if you stop, then the other side's going to become the, quote, prevailing party.
Yeah. And
then they're going to get attorney's fees and costs. And, it depends on the type of litigation. But there's an opportunity for them to at least come and try and get something back from you to make it even worse, because now it's their principle. How dare this guy have sued me in the first place?
I wish it was different, and I wish people out there understood what the real law is. Not TV law, not movie law, not, I Googled it law, but how the system really works. By the time you get to trial, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And the hardest thing to tell somebody is, like, you had a trial set the other week, and you were 13 in line.
Yes.
Which means you're not going.
Probably not.
So there are 8 guys.
But you still have to, because in theory, I might have gone. So I had to get ready.
And imagine I have to pay my experts to be ready to go. And I have, and some experts go, listen, if I got to open this week up, this is going to be a cost. So even when they don't show up, you might have to write that check. And your last case got basically bumped about 5, 6 months. And could you imagine you're the person waiting to go to trial and you're nuts over this, and you get bumped every 3 months. You get bumped. And people go, that doesn't happen. It happens every day.
Happens all the time.
And nobody controls it. It's because they don't have enough jurors. They don't have enough judges. It's just the way it is. When people think about trials, I would say maybe 1 out of every 200 cases or 1 out of every 500 cases might go to trial. What do you think the number is?
Oh, it's more than that for us. I think nationally you're at 2 to 3%. If I remember.
That's what they say, but I think they combine criminal cases in there because I don't think they combine regular civil cases.
It's hard to go to trial in a civil case. It really is. There's so many in line.
Yep.
And by the time you get to the point you're at a trial posture, it's so expensive that one or both sides start getting nervous. And then you start compromising more than you otherwise would because now there's way more at risk than there was before.
When I think about funny moments that happen in court, most of them happen in trials. Very rarely do they happen in motions. And Craig and I try a lot of our cases together. And when people hear that, they go, wait, I thought you were on the billboard. Yeah, well, I have to work. And they go, well, most of the guys don't. And it's like, I get it. When you have, and it wasn't because we needed to do it. About 10 years ago, I realized I wasn't doing something that I respected. I didn't like it. My firm was a huge firm. We had a ridiculous amount of attorneys and we had more people in our mailroom than most firms have in their regular office. And
I don't remember.
I hated it. People tell me that they met me on the elevator and I don't know who they are. Oh, Jeff, remember when I worked for you and I met you on the elevator?
You could name 5% of our employees back in our
5%,
business.
maybe 2%. I felt bad. The person I'm dating now, for example, used to work for my company. I didn't know it. And everyone goes, I met you on the elevator, and I go, oh, Lord, here it comes. And there's some weird elevator story somebody always has with me. And it always is just blown out of proportion. And my favorite one was the 2 new employees who got on the elevator with me, and they were talking about our ex-partner. And they're going, yeah, we're going, this partner, he's a real blank. They were lighting him up. And I wasn't sure they weren't talking about me at first. And I said, which one are you talking about? And they go, the thin one. I go, oh, okay, good. Not me.
Yeah, because that's my partner.
That's me.
Oh, what?
Well, I didn't say anything.
You didn't?
Didn't say a word because I was so happy it wasn't me.
It wasn't you.
And what was the crazy thing was the next day I get on the elevator and the same 2 women are on the elevator. The math of that was like 0.
Yeah.
And they were ridiculously uncomfortable. And they were going, you know what we said yesterday at the elevator? And I'm laughing. I'm going, hey, listen, I'm just glad you weren't talking about me. And they, but you won't tell them, will you? I said, yeah, I won't tell them. Lunch. That's when I told them. I didn't tell them which 2, but I did tell them. But that happens. And you hear all these terrible stories about what you did. Now, what do you think the worst thing you did?
The worst thing that
I know I got 7 or 8. See, I'm easy. See, you were likable. Everyone liked you.
Everyone liked me.
Yeah, but what do you think, though, that somebody goes, oh, you know what I hated? Craig did this to me one time. They don't have the Craig story?
No.
There are hundreds of Jeff stories. No Craig stories?
No, because I'm not mean, evil, wicked, or vicious.
You weren't allowed to be mean, evil, or wicked. That's not fair.
I was nice to everybody.
I was the one they go, hey, could you go yell
I do. There was a vicious rumor circulating at one point.
Ooh.
I had, because of the proportions of my body, I have to have my suits custom tailored. Okay. I can't just go to Men's Warehouse and get the jacket and the. So
because they just don't.
So anyway, the button was wrong on my jacket, and my tailor said, "Well, take a picture of it so that I can see what it looks like." So I'm in the bathroom and I have the phone and I go to take a picture. And just as these guys are walking in that work for us, and they think I'm in there taking hey, this is a dating profile picture. And I didn't think anything of it at first because I thought they would realize what I was doing. But no, Craig's in the bathroom taking selfies of himself to post wherever. And I'm like, I was sending it to my tailor so he could see the button was.
No, it's a button.
It was a button. But everyone was just that whole year. Everyone was like, oh, Craig's one of them. He's one of the always. Where's he putting that picture? Who's he sending that to? I had to deal with that for a whole year.
One of my favorites was this one. And it was my job. I hated it, but my old partner had me convinced that this is who I needed to be. And he goes, yeah, you got to yell at people. You got to light them up. Some people need that. And the truth is that when you have a huge company, there are some people who only respond to fear. And you got to cut those people loose. You can't have them working for you. But when they do work for you and the only thing they respond to is fear, you have to be that guy. And I hated that. And every once in a while, I would be told, hey, you got to you got to do this, you got to do this. And we had this big sales dude. I mean, he was a beast of a dude. He was like 6'5". And his people were just walking all over him. And Matt goes, you're going to have to light this guy up. Could you do that? I have him come into your office. And I don't remember what I said to the dude. I had no clue because, when you're setting fire to a guy, trying to get him in line, you're just riffing sometimes. And about 2 months later, when he quit, HR walks into our office and she goes, I just did his exit interview. Because when you have a big company, you have exit interviews. They're not like, hey, I fired this person or we just gave him a box. You have an exit interview.
The exit
interviews where she went over, hey, can I talk to you about this? Can I ask you a question if you're willing to talk?
Hey, we know that you're not a good fit for the company, but we're going to give you one last opportunity to burn every possible bridge you can think of on the way out the door, starting go. And I'm writing it all down. And all these people who you hate, I am going to go tell them what your last words were. I don't think that's a good thing to do in concept or theory.
Technically, I was the bridge on most of these things. And she comes in and she said the most horrific thing that you could ever imagine. And Matt, Craig, and I are looking at her and she goes, Jeff, he said, you said the blah, 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 blah. And I can't even repeat it. It was so bad.
What?
It was bad.
We're
not. No, we're not. We'd be canned. But it was so horrific.
Oh, it couldn't have been that bad.
And I remember going and Matt was looking. Matt and Craig were looking at me, and I looked over and I go, "Yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah, that sounds like me.
That sounds like."
And it was so horrific. I couldn't. The dude was like 6'5", and I knew what had happened. I knew the scenario. I automatically went back to it, and I was like, his people were like just killing him. And I'm like, "You're a big dude." And I got way too colorful. And that's what happens. And then these are the stories. And then whatever you said gets blown up to 10 times as bad. Yeah. And then they're suddenly telling you, and you also got naked. What? No, I didn't do that. But we had people in our office. They were lunatics. They were absolute lunatics. And it was like, hey, Jeff, could you look into this? What happened? Well, she's dating him, but she was also cheating on this guy. And now this guy, she's upset because this guy is talking stuff about her and she wants to file a complaint against this guy.
The managers?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And she wants to file a complaint against the guy she cheated on because now he's upset.
Yeah.
And he's saying he's talking smack about her. And I'm going, what are we doing?
Only when you have that many employees could you ever conceive of having a problem like that, right?
And sales guys. Ooh, we had an intake division, 40 ego-driven creatures.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to tell sales guys to do it. Sales guys are like, what are you talking about? And then
they're very fragile. Their ego's very fragile, sales guys.
Yeah. People don't get it. They think these guys easily are so offended. Jeff, I'm so offended. Really? You lied to like 10 people today. You lied to me coming in the door here. And we're not good. But that's what happens when you run a big business. And that's why, as an owner, you have to learn to separate yourself from a lot of that stuff. And I could no longer separate myself. And I was like, listen, I got to get out of here. I got to go back to a family environment. I've got to bring this back. I got to get my brain right. And I think now if I had to do it, I could. I wouldn't want to because I actually like having relationships with the people I work with.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Because you can't be friends.
Yeah.
You can't be friends with people when your company's that big anymore.
No.
And you can, how you doing, Bob? Good to meet you. The kid's good. Everything's great. Who was that? And that's normally the way that played out. I mean, now we know everybody here. It's cool to be able to spend time with the people you work with, especially when they like you. When they didn't like you, it wasn't great. You'd walk in a room and you knew that.
You have to treat people the way you would want to be treated. If you can do that in your business, you'll succeed.